What's up, everybody? This is Coaster Visuals. We're back with doing some videos again. This is going to be my first video in a while. Um, kind of taking a hiatus from this after getting back from my Europe trip, but I plan to do some more videos, and I want to make it better quality, do some more coaster reviews. And I've been inspired recently to write a review about a roller coaster that gets a lot of hate, and I think it's probably the most overhated roller coaster in the United States of America. And I've seen some videos recently saying this is the worst roller coaster in the world, so I'm making a video here to prove those videos wrong, to show why the Boss at Six Flags St. Louis is one of the best wooden roller coasters in North America, and why I actually think it's the king of wooden roller coasters in the Six Flags chain. I think it's better than El Toro. This is a seriously underrated coaster, and I rode it at a great time a couple weeks ago during Fright Fest, and it was absolutely flying. So I'm going to give my full review of it here and go into in-depth on the entire ride and why I don't think it's that rough and why I think the people who say it's rough are just being overdramatic. So let's start by you board your Gerstlauer trains. Now, I actually really like these trains. I think they're really overhated. They are kind of hard plastic, so I rode this like 30 times, and after a while my legs did start to get a little sore from the laterals, but the trains track really well, and I don't think they bounce a lot, and there's really not much jackhammering, and overall they're very comfortable, and once you figure out how to ride them, it's really easy to get a ton of room. I was having so much room between myself and the lap bar, I felt like I was standing up on multiple of the drops on the Boss. So you first, before you actually ride the Boss, you have to walk up a huge queue line. Probably one of the most annoying things about it. The line is just so long. Once you get into the station, you'll board a train. You'll get the dispatch. They'll send you up the lift hill. It's facing away from the park, so maybe not the best view in the world. But you still get a lot of nice views of the trees. And if you turn around during the lift hill, which I'd highly recommend, the view is really cool. And then you get to the top of the lift, and it's one of those rides, I don't think you really realize how tall it is until you're actually going down the first drop because of the way the terrain is all set up. So yeah, you get this spectacular view as you're cresting over the first drop, and then you head down the drop, and in the front row, you're not going to get as much airtime, but you really feel the speed once you get into the bottom of the drop. In the back row, you get a nice pop of airtime as you crest over the drop, and you hit the bottom, and normally straight track isn't a great element, but on this coaster it works because Boss is actually a double down drop. So you go down and you flatten out, and you're going at this insane speed, and it's at this moment you realize, like, this is really one of the fastest wooden coasters out there. You're going 66 miles per hour. The only wooden coaster that's a traditional wood coaster that goes faster is the Voyage. Boss goes faster than every CCI, which is pretty amazing. You immediately fly over some straight track and head towards the surprise dip that takes place within the structure. And in the back row, you get a serious pop of ejector airtime coming down this dip. And you can't really see it coming, which makes it even more surprising. And this is one element of the ride which at night is absolutely spectacular, because there's very little light back there except a little bit on the structure, and you just see yourself tunneling towards the structure. And it really feels like you don't see the bottom of the drop, so it feels like you're going to just crash into the wood structure, and it's such a cool effect. You fly around a turn that has insane laterals. I felt myself folding over every single time. It was fantastic. And then you cruise over an ejector hill, which feels really, really tight. It feels like they almost ran out of space, and it's very abrupt. It throws you out of your seat. Very violent airtime moment. One of the best on the ride, I would say. You fly up into the turnaround, and no matter what row you're in, you're going to get really nice laterals on this turnaround. It's sustained for about 4 seconds. In the front row, you get a really nice jolt entering it that you don't get in the back, but the back gets a little bit of float on the drop as a trade-off. You then fly around another section that has really intense laterals and stays low to the ground. You take a little bit of a banked speed hill on this section, which has some nice floater, but really, like, I'm just pinned to my seat the whole time, so even while I'm lifting out of my seat, it feels like I'm getting laterals. So it's fantastic. I love laterals, and that's one of the best things about the Boss. The Boss has amazing lateral forces. You head up into the next turnaround. Again, in the front row, you're going to get really nice airtime as you enter, and you're going to get some good lats as well. The back has some lats here as well, but it's a bit weaker than the front. But still, it's still pretty decent. You then head over the mid course. Now, I have heard this can trim a lot more, but when I rode it, it lightly tapped the train, and we really just flew through it. I rode it during Fright Fest, and I gotta say, that's the time to ride the Boss, because it was fantastic. You get some nice strong flow ejector airtime coming off of that drop. I don't think it's quite ejector, but I felt myself lifting out of my seat quite a bit on that drop, and it was awesome. You head up into the next turnaround. Again, it's a pretty similar story to the first two. You'll get some mild laterals, but in the front, it's a bit stronger. And then you curve back down, and then you hit one of the best drops on the ride, which reminds me a lot of the drop that Ghost Rider does off the mid-course brake run. But I think this one has more sustained airtime and just feels a lot faster, especially when it was warmed up like when I rode it. So you get some really nice airtime there, and if you get a lot of room on that moment, you're really going to feel like you're flying, which is fantastic. So you head down that drop, and you get great airtime as you're coming down, and then you coast over another banked speed hill. This one also has awesome laterals, and you get a nice bit of airtime as well as you go through this element. There's a really good head chopper with the supports right after this, where you pass under another piece of track, and you get really, really nice head chopper moment right there as you come up into the next element, which is an airtime hill. This hill gives a nice pop of floater airtime. I think it's a bit more noticeable in the front, but you still get it whatever row you're in, no matter what. It's a great element. After this, you head up into another hill. This one is more like an L hill, and you get really nice laterals on the top of it. It's not like sustained lats, but really powerful jolt to the side, and I felt myself folding over every time on this element. Definitely one of my favorites on the ride. You then head over one more floater airtime hill, give a nice bit of floater air. Nothing too extreme there, but still nice airtime moment, a great part of the ride. You curve around a 180-degree turn. Kind of feels like a single helix to me because you really get some nice lats as you're heading around this turn. This used to be a double helix, and I'm sure that would have been awesome, but I still think it's really good with the 180-degree turn that it has. And then you fly over two final airtime hills, and these are absolutely crazy, and especially in the front row, you can really feel how insane these are. You get ejected out of your seat on both of these hills, and in the front row, when you're coming into the brakes on the second one, it feels like the train gets like caught in mid-air by the brakes because you're getting airtime as you hit the brake run. So you almost get like this really crazy combination of ejector and then also getting thrown forward. And it's just a wild moment and such a great way to end the ride. So yeah, that's the end of the ride. You head back into the station, and the coaster has over 4,000 feet of track. It's a very long ride. It feels like it's at least 3 minutes in length from start to finish. So overall thoughts on this ride, I really don't think it's rough at all. It's not even the roughest wooden coaster in the park, to be honest. Screaming Eagle in the back row is bouncier. This ride feels honestly the same in terms of rides like Boulder Dash, Shivering Timbers, The Voyage. You know, it's a wooden coaster, so it's going to be aggressive, but it's really not like crazy jackhammering like a lot of people are saying. And I don't know why people over-exaggerate this ride so much, but it's really not, the roughness is really not that bad of a problem. You know, it does shake, but it adds to it. It doesn't hurt. The ride is fantastic. It makes it feel intense, and I think that's what's so great about wooden coasters. They can make, the rides can feel shaky, but, you know, they don't actually hurt, and it really adds to the experience for me. So I love this coaster because of the aggressive nature, the airtime, the pacing, the laterals. It has great forces, a great layout, and I think they do a good job of maintaining it, you know. They have 3 wooden coasters there, and I feel like they take care of all of them pretty well. You know, it's a great ride. So I love this coaster. I would highly recommend Six Flags St. Louis to anyone who's a fan of wooden coasters. This is my favorite wooden coaster in the Six Flags chain. I prefer this to El Toro for sure. and it's one of my favorite CCIs. It's definitely a top three CCI, really up there with New Mexico Rattler, Shivering Timbers, Ghost Rider. So fantastic. So yeah, that's the Boss of Six Flags St. Louis, a great coaster. I got tons of rides on it. I had over 32 rides when I was there. Um, I got an ADA sheet filled up with rides on it. I'll put a picture of that on the screen. And yeah, I just had such a fun time riding this, and I can't recommend it enough. Such a great ride. Thanks for watching, and I definitely plan on making more reviews for coasters soon, and I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I hope you all take some time to go out and ride the Boss, and definitely let me know if you like this ride. Are you with the people who think it's rough? Do you think it's a fantastic ride like I do? I think it's a 10 out of 10, so uh, definitely let me know in the comments what you think. And yeah, stay tuned for more.